I just recently did a photo shoot for an office that had some very specific criteria as far as what they needed. This specific office needed a pure white background for their photos to be taken against for their ID badges. Now, while I was there, I had a backdrop that was a little on the wrinkly side. So the photos that I started with looked a little bit something like this. And here is what they ended up looking like when finished. Now, obviously you can see I have blurred out the face in this photo for privacy reasons. I don't have their permission to post their face on here, but I did want to show you how I used an app on my iPad to solve the problem of a less than ideal backdrop situation. I did not have time to iron or steam or press that backdrop in any capacity whatsoever. So here is how I overcame that using an app on my iPad. So this app is called Snapseed. It's actually made by Google and it's a super powerful photo editing app. All right, so as you can see on the backdrop that I have, it actually has all kinds of wrinkles in it. The first thing I thought about doing was just literally painting in a white background. And I'm like, this is gonna take forever. You get into hair and there's certain pieces of hair here. You can see that you lose that detail if you don't paint around every single one of those pieces of hair. So I wanted to come up with a way to make that backdrop look decent in the least amount of time. So here's what I ended up doing. You go into your brush tools here. So I'm gonna jump into the brush tools, jump over to my exposure tool, and you'll see that we have the ability to lower and increase our exposure by different decimal numbers. So I increased my exposure all the way up to an extra stop. And what that allowed me to do is jump in and start coloring in the background in pure white. And it really works out. And obviously, if you're doing a different color, you could do a similar technique with black by decreasing your exposure by an extra stop. But what I found that this did really well is you'll see it will lose a little bit of hair, but for the most part, it keeps that fine detail. And you'll see as we zoom in, a lot of that is preserved in a very quick and efficient manner. And then we can just jump right around the person here and just start adding in that perfect white corporate background color that they're after. And most of the hair remains intact. You'll see right here we've already painted around it and it goes ahead and keeps their actual hair the way it was the day we took the photo. Which of course you want to make sure that you preserve details like that or the photo comes out looking weird and unnatural. So I went ahead and just did a quick touch up of this like so, and then I went back around with the exposure brush afterwards and just did some touch ups where I wanted the shirt to look a different way, or I wanted to adjust the hair in a few places perhaps, maybe make the hair look a little more like their natural hair color did. If the flash that was in the room blew out their hair a little bit, I could go back in and touch that up. And I also did a little work on the faces and stuff like that. But you'll see as we look around the photo at large, everything looks pretty decent. But there are potentially going to be some spots where things don't look perfect. So once we've got everything looking pretty good, but maybe needs a little bit more tweaking, for example, you'll see there's still a wrinkle or two right in here. Well, the next thing we're going to do is jump right here into our healing tool, and then we can zoom right back into that exact same spot and start making some more corrections. So we just go ahead and start drawing over these wrinkles in the backdrop, and you'll see that it samples other sections around that area and helps smooth it out just a little bit. So we can go over the entirety of that backdrop and get a really nice, clean looking finished product. After that, I went in, applied a little bit of vignetting just to make the focus actually centered in on the subject, cropped it down to the aspect ratio that we wanted that photo to be, and that was a finished product. So that is how I was able to take a wrinkled backdrop and turn an unusable photo into something that looked passable. So hopefully you found this video interesting. That was a super quick, easy way to do this. I literally did it on an iPad mini with an Apple Pencil, so it's a very, very simple way of doing this. I'm sure there are other more professional ways to do, but if you're on a time crunch and you didn't have time to get everything set the way you wanted it, hopefully this will help you out. Again, here's what the final result looked like. And if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, definitely leave a comment below, hit that like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.